Mời anh em tổ chức là ngày mai, mai 10 giờ 30.
10 giờ 30.
Vâng, anh em nó đến là cùng dự lễ.
Bắt đầu lễ là 10 giờ 30.
10 giờ 30.
Vậy là sáng đồ khoảng 9 giờ là thấy đông đúc rồi đúng không?
Vâng. Đấy.
Rồi là ngày mai là vẫn chưa thấy chú rể chưa xuất hiện.
Vâng.
Rồi.
Sáng mai chú rể mới sang.
Sáng mai thì đi đó, ý nói là mốt chứ.
Sáng mai chú rể mới sang đây.
Chú rể cũng sang ngày mai rồi.
Hết cả hai bên thông gia đều có mặt hết.
Ngày mai thông gia có mặt nhưng mà ngày mốt mới được đi.
Đấy, sau là ngày kia là lại đi sang bên nhà chú rể.
Ngày mốt chứ không phải ngày kia. Ngày mốt ok.
Nhà chú rể là một ngày một đêm nữa.
Một đêm.
Vietnam is home to 54 ethnic groups living together across the country. The Kin people make up the majority, while the other 53 ethnic minorities each preserve their own language, traditional clothing, customs, and cultural identity. In the northern mountains of Vietnam, dozens of ethnic communities have lived here for generations, including the Hmong, Dao, Tay, Nung, Thai, Muong, and Lolo. Each of them forms an essential part of Vietnam's rich cultural mosaic. On this journey, I ride my motorbike to Hoang Su Phi, Ha Giang, one of the most beautiful and culturally unique regions in Vietnam. But this is not just another photography trip. It is a return to a small mountain village that holds a very special meaning for me. 12 years ago in Ho Thao village, during a light rainy afternoon, I captured a photograph of two Dao children. The image was titled Lovely in the Rain. It later received 32 international photography awards and became one of the most important milestones in my artistic journey. Today, I return to this village, not to relive the past, but to witness a new chapter of life. The little girl in that photograph has grown up, and today, she is the bride. This is more than a wedding. It is a meeting between memory and the present, between a moment preserved in a photograph and the life that continued to grow after that moment was captured. And now, join me as we travel to Ho Thao village, Hoang Su Phi, Ha Giang, Vietnam, to attend a traditional Dao wedding. In the traditional wedding customs of the Dao people, the first and most important ritual at the bride's house is the ancestral ceremony. Before the bride leaves her home, the family gathers at the altar to report to their ancestors. They ask for permission, they ask for blessings, and they ask that the young couple be protected as they begin a new life together. Offerings of incense, rice wine, meat, and other foods are placed with care upon the family altar. In the quiet smoke of burning incense, one generation speaks to another. This is more than a ritual. It is a moment of gratitude, a moment of respect, and a reminder that in this culture, marriage is not only a union between two people, but a continuation of the family spirit.
Họ liền thì Sam thế mình có hi giáo giáo hi tu giang sao điện xiang đạo chung với ca xiên mình cười dâm nhớ sinh hình gần ba hạ linh đạo ô thái thiên sao đủ phú sao đủ cái thiếu đủ thái giang thảo nhân sinh thái tiêu thái hoa khai tu cơn mưu con ấy thành thái nhà một người ở mới nó giờ để Vân mô sinh phật phật sáu pháp quan cũng với ca thiền giáo liên giang
While the prayers are being offered, the bride begins to prepare. Her traditional wedding costume is extraordinary. Every color, every embroidered line, every handmade detail reflects generations of artistic skill and cultural identity. There is beauty here that goes far beyond decoration. It is history, worn with dignity. And this is one of the reasons I could not miss this wedding. I wanted to witness not only the marriage of a young woman, but the living beauty of a culture that still honors its roots. Vietnam, each ethnic group has its own language for telling its story. Some tell their stories through spoken words, some through songs, and some tell their stories through every thread, every embroidered pattern, and every color woven into their traditional clothing. For the Kin people, the majority ethnic group in Vietnam, the most familiar image in a traditional wedding is the graceful áo dai and the khăn đong, the traditional headdress. Today, alongside Western-style wedding attire such as suits and bridal gowns, the áo dai still holds a very special place. It represents elegance, dignity, and a cultural beauty that has been preserved through generations. But for many ethnic minority communities across the country, wedding clothing is more than a choice. It is an essential part of the ceremony. It is how they affirm who they are, where they come from, and which traditions they belong to. When I look at the wedding costume of this Dao bride, I feel as though I am standing before a work of art. Every embroidered line is the result of patience. Every pattern is a cultural symbol. Every color carries its own meaning. Red symbolizes luck and happiness. The hand-stitched details reflect both precision and pride. Layer upon layer of fabric creates a composition that is at once strong and graceful. And above all, every detail seems to say to the world, I am Dao. What moves me most is that in a time when the world is changing so quickly, many traditional values remain beautifully intact. In large cities, modern wedding attire has become increasingly common. But in these mountain villages, on one of the most important days of a person's life, people still choose to wear the clothing of their ancestors, not out of habit, but out of pride, out of respect, and out of a desire to pass this identity on to future generations. If you ever have the opportunity to attend weddings of other ethnic groups in Vietnam, you will discover that each community has its own unique beauty. The Hmong are known for their vibrant colors, the Thai for their elegance and softness, the Ide for the strong and powerful spirit of the Central Highlands, and the Cham for a culture where faith and art are deeply intertwined. Each costume tells a story, each pattern holds a memory, each color expresses pride. As a photographer, I have always been drawn to details like these, because I understand that behind visual beauty lies the depth of culture. A beautiful photograph does more than impress the eye, it helps us understand people and life itself. In moments like this, I am not simply pressing the shutter, I am witnessing history as it continues to be written. Years from now, the faces we see today will grow older, the children will become adults, the houses may change, but these photographs will remain. As a reminder that there was once a day like this, a day when a bride wore the clothing of her people, a day when a family gathered together, a day when tradition was preserved with deep pride and love. And I believe that when a young woman puts on the traditional wedding attire of her people, she does more than become a bride. She becomes the bearer of her ancestors' memories, the one who continues her family's story, and a bridge between the past, the present, and the future. That is why I have always believed that culture does not live only in books. Culture lives in people, in ceremonies, in every stitch and every thread, and in simple moments like this, filled with profound meaning. Outside, the celebration begins. Family members, friends, and neighbors gather to share food, rice wine, songs, and laughter. In many Dao communities, these gatherings continue for 1 or even 2 days. The wedding is not simply a private event, it is a communal joy, a time when everyone comes together to bless the new couple and celebrate the continuity of life. As you can see, this is not a wealthy family. Their home is modest, their ceremony is simple. But the meaning behind every gesture is profound. Nothing is extravagant, yet nothing important is omitted. Every step is carried out with sincerity and respect. I feel deeply grateful to be here, to witness these moments, to photograph them, and to share them with you. Through these images, I hope you can discover a small but meaningful part of the rich cultural heritage of Vietnam. Tonight, I return to my room to rest. Tomorrow will bring another extraordinary day, a journey filled with color, tradition, and emotion, as the bride leaves her family home to begin a new chapter of her life. Day 2 is the day when the bride's family travels to the groom's home for the official wedding ceremony. From early morning, the bride's house is filled with activity. Everyone is busy preparing for an important journey. This is not simply a visit. It is the moment when the bride leaves her childhood home to begin a new life with her husband. All of her personal belongings must be packed and taken with her. Clothes, blankets, daily necessities, and the small things that will help her begin a new household. As you can see, the young bride carefully gathers everything she will need for the next chapter of her life. There is something deeply moving about this moment. A few bags, a few simple possessions, but within them lies the beginning of an entirely new future. At the groom's house, preparations have already been underway since the night before. Rituals, prayers, and celebrations will continue through today and into tomorrow. The wedding is not just a single event. It is a process, a transition, a journey from one family to another.
Chúc mẹ là đoàn của bên nhà gái là đi sau đúng không?
So what will happen next? What does this journey truly mean? Let us continue. And here is one of the most emotional moments of the entire wedding. Before leaving, the bride says goodbye to her grandmother, the grandmother who helped raise her, who watched her grow from a little girl into the young woman we see today. In this quiet embrace, words are no longer necessary. I could see tears forming in the bride's eyes, and in her grandmother's face, I saw both sadness and love. Sadness because someone dear is leaving, and love because this departure is part of life itself. This is one of the universal truths of marriage. A daughter leaves her family home, but she carries with her the memories, the teachings, and the affection of those who raised her. For a photographer, moments like this cannot be staged. They happen only once, and they reveal emotions that speak more powerfully than words ever could. The distance from the bride's home in Ho To village to the groom's home in Quang Nguyen village is approximately 15 kilometers. The road winds through mountain passes, remote hamlets, and some of the most beautiful terraced rice fields in Hoang Su Phi, northern Vietnam. I followed the bride's vehicle on my motorcycle, carrying my cameras and filming equipment. It felt less like covering a wedding and more like accompanying a story as it unfolded. Behind us, relatives and friends from the bride's family rode together on their motorbikes. One by one, they crossed the mountains to attend the celebration. There were no luxury cars, no elaborate convoy, only motorcycles, laughter, and the quiet excitement of a family escorting their daughter to her new home. Simple, authentic, and profoundly beautiful. Along this mountain road, the bride is not only traveling 15 kilometers, she is crossing an invisible boundary between childhood and adulthood, between one family and another, between the life she has known and the life that now awaits her. finally arrived in Quang Nguyen Commune, where the groom's house sits quietly in a valley below. Many guests had already gathered for the wedding. Most of them were women, dressed in the vibrant traditional clothing of the Dao people. The scene before me was filled with color. Deep reds, bright embroidery, handmade fabrics carrying generations of history and identity. Because they had traveled here by motorcycle along winding mountain roads, many of the women were still adjusting their clothing. Their outfits were not yet complete, so they gathered together, helping one another prepare. Some carefully wrapped the red headscarves around their hair. Some asked for assistance from a friend or relative. Others did it themselves, and with no dressing rooms nearby, they used the mirrors of their motorbikes as makeshift mirrors. I found this moment incredibly beautiful. There was no urgency, no vanity, only a quiet sense of care, a shared understanding that every detail mattered. In Dao culture, the headscarf and the sash wrapped around the waist are among the most important elements of the traditional costume. They are not simple accessories. They are essential parts of the identity each woman carries with pride. The way the scarf is wrapped, the way the fabric is folded, the way the colors come together. All of these details require time, patience, and respect. And perhaps that is why they devote such careful attention to these final preparations. While everyone waited for the bride's parents to formally enter the groom's house, I took the opportunity to photograph the women around me. These were not staged portraits. They were quiet, genuine moments, faces marked by life, expressions filled with dignity, and the remarkable beauty of traditional clothing worn with natural grace. It is not often that a photographer has the opportunity to stand among so many people dressed in their full traditional attire. For me, this was an extraordinary gift, and it is one of the reasons I traveled by motorcycle all the way to this remote mountain village. My camera was soon filled with images of vivid colors, authentic expressions, and a living culture preserved through the rituals of family life. As I waited for the ceremony to begin, I found myself completely absorbed in the simple act of making portraits, one face after another, one story after another, and with each photograph, I felt that I was capturing more than appearances. I was preserving a small part of the soul of the Dao people of Hoang Su Phi, northern Vietnam.
Rồi đẹp. Quay đi con, quay đi cá, quay từ xa, chú đang cảnh cho chú đang cho mọi người coi hình. Nhìn được không? Lắc cho nó kêu lên keng. Mẹ chuẩn bị sẵn rồi. Làm tự nhiên.
Làm tự nhiên đi.
Cầm váy lên, cầm váy lên. Đó, cầm nhạc cho mình lại. Quay cái kiến cho thấy mặt chú nè. Để chú thấy có tấm hình của mặt chú. Quá hay luôn.
Quay hi em chú đôn này đẹp quá.
Đẹp đó.
Con nhờ chú cho cả nhà cháu.
Đúng rồi.
Bác chụp cho nhà cháu.
Rồi, đến nhà đâu? Bố đây đúng không?
Vâng.
Hay quá, giờ để bác quay trước rồi nha. Mẹ nè, bố nè, hai đứa.
Đây là
Con hai đứa luôn ạ. Cháu con bạn kia, con chị kia.
Amid all the joy of this wedding day, the laughter, the music, and the celebration of family and friends, there are two people whose emotions are perhaps the deepest of all: the bride's parents. For them, this is a day of happiness, but it is also a day of farewell. For many years, they cared for their daughter. They watched her grow. They protected her. They guided her through childhood and into adulthood. And now, they stand quietly as she begins a new chapter of her life. Every parent understands this moment, the joy of seeing a child find love, and the quiet sadness of letting her go. Today, their daughter is becoming a wife, but in their hearts, she will always remain the little girl they raised with love and hope. Behind every wedding ceremony, there is another story, the story of two parents learning to let go. And in that moment, love reveals one of its most beautiful forms. Not in holding on, but in giving someone the freedom to begin a life of their own. And now, let us listen to the words and feelings of the bride's parents.
Hôm nay con gái đi lấy chồng. Bố mẹ có cảm xúc như thế nào? Nay đưa nó về nhà chồng nè.
Thôi thì nói chung thì con cái nó cũng đủ thời gian đi xây dựng kế hoạch gia đình. Thì bố mẹ cũng là rất là xúc động, vẫn phải là đưa con để đến nơi đến chốn để làm ăn, Cho nên là bố mẹ cũng cái là rất là bức xúc động về cho bố mẹ.
Mẹ mẹ không nói được, mẹ cảm xúc xúc động quá.
Bây giờ là con của người ta rồi, từ hôm nay lại đi vào nhà khác rồi.
Hôm nay là con của người ta mà là con của mình chứ đâu.
Người ta quản lý rồi.
Người ta là quản lý rồi.
Mình cũng xúc động nhưng mà
không, nhưng
con đi lấy vợ lấy chồng để làm ăn.
Nhưng mà thế hệ trẻ bây giờ là nó là lý thuyết thôi, tụi nó sẽ tự lập được hết.
Một đời người ai cũng phải đi lấy chồng mà.
Khoan hỏi thêm một tí nè, hồi xưa bố mẹ lấy nhau như thế nào? Thứ nhất là điều kiện nè, thứ hai nè tình cảm như thế nào, rồi sinh sống cho đến ngày hôm nay là sao?
Thì ngày xưa bố mẹ thì cũng có một cái sự tình cảm để gặp nhau. Đấy, thì mới để được biết nhau thì lấy nhau.
Cùng làng không?
Cùng xã.
Cùng xã.
Vâng.
Rồi cô dâu lúc đó đi, cô dâu có khóc không? Cô dâu mẹ. Rồi bác Phước thay mặt chúc mừng gia đình nha, rồi chúc cho hai cháu nó trăm năm hạnh phúc. Rồi có nhiều cháu cho ông bà giữ đấy mà. Rồi cảm ơn nhiều, tự nhiên. Bà ở gần nhà chị đấy không?
The bride's family as they make their way to the groom's house where the official wedding ceremony will take place. We walk slowly down a narrow slope. Below us, nestled against the hillside in a quiet valley, the groom's home comes into view. The procession from the bride's family is a striking sight. Men and women, all dressed in their finest traditional clothing, move together with dignity and purpose. Every color, every embroidered pattern, every carefully wrapped headscarf adds to the beauty of the moment.
Đây là nhà gái ở Hồ Thầu, qua nhà trai ở Quảng Nguyên. Tất cả là người dân tộc Dao hết.
Được rồi, còn gì nữa? Được rồi.
Ai cũng đẹp hết rồi. Phim này quay đẹp đây. Tắt điện thoại đó hết đi.
Ta tớ đúng cha Quảng Nguyên.
Đây.
Quảng Nguyên rồi trai này ơi,
Quảng Nguyên. Trơn quá.
Cẩn thận nha bác nha.
Dạ. Té đụng trượt chân hư máy móc. Dâu phụ đâu? Để xíu nha, cho qua trước nha. Qua trước quay phim. Ô. Cái giỏ đi đâu đấy? Xóa với tôi lọt tài. Đang nhưng mà mày phải chiều thì điểm danh nè 1 2 3 4 5. Đồng chí sao đi sao vậy? Đồng chí phải đi trước chứ. Em không biết gì vậy. Hai vợ chồng thằng Cáo đi nhanh lên.
From a distance, the groom's family begins to welcome us. The sound of traditional horns and drums rises through the mountain air. The music echoes across the valley, carried by the hills and forests that surround us. For me, this was an unforgettable experience. It was the first time I had taken part in a wedding where sound itself seemed to become part of the landscape. The haunting tones of the ceremonial horns, the steady rhythm of the drums, and the vivid colors of the traditional costumes all came together to create an atmosphere unlike anything I had experienced before. In that moment, I felt that I was stepping into another world, a world where music, culture, and community remain deeply connected, a world shaped by tradition, by memory, and by the enduring spirit of life in the mountains of Hoang Su Phi, northern Vietnam.
Thưa quý vị, và ngay lúc này chúng tôi đang đón nhận được rất nhiều những tình cảm từ phía tất cả quý vị quan khách với một không gian được trang trọng và lộng lẫy. Khoảnh khắc này
cái rau này là rau hay là hoa thôi anh? Đẹp quá, hoa đây.
Các thành viên trong đại gia đình. Và ngay lúc này xin được gửi lời lời trân trọng tới bộ phận tiếp tân các vị đại diện của gia đình nhà trai. Hãy cùng di chuyển ra phía ngoài cánh cổng của hạnh phúc, dành những tình cảm nồng hậu nhất để chào đón tới phái đoàn gia đình nhà gái. Một lần nữa chúng tôi xin được hân hạnh và nồng nhiệt chào đón tới phái đoàn gia đình.
Đi sát ra cái bờ là lấy cái bóng đây.
Mời toàn thể quý vị, các thành viên trong đại gia đình đôi bên hãy cùng di chuyển ra phía những vị trí mà đại gia đình nhà trai đã chuẩn bị một cách long trọng và chu đáo. Một lần nữa xin gửi lời cảm ơn và nồng nhiệt chào đón tới tất cả quý vị. Thưa quý vị, hạnh phúc là ước vọng, là ước mơ của mỗi con người. Bất kỳ ai sinh ra trong cuộc đời này đều có quyền được mưu cầu hạnh phúc. Theo quan niệm của người xưa, hạnh phúc chính là những dòng chảy lớn chảy về những nhánh sông nhỏ, tượng trưng cho tình yêu, sức khỏe, tiền tài, công danh và sự nghiệp. Khởi nguồn của những dòng chảy lớn luôn bắt đầu từ những dãy núi cao, còn khởi nguồn của hạnh phúc luôn bắt đầu từ tổ ấm gia đình. Trải qua một thời gian tìm hiểu và yêu thương nhau, đôi bạn trẻ đã phải trải qua rất nhiều cung bậc cảm xúc, dù là hỉ, ái, hay ố, nổ. Một lần nữa xin gửi lời cảm ơn tới tất cả quý vị đã đến với ngày trọng đại lễ thành hôn của chú rể Diệu Hòa và cô dâu Tuệ Bùi. Xin gửi lời mời, lời nhờ trân trọng tới bộ phận tiếp tân của đại gia đình nhà trai. Hãy giúp chúng tôi đón một người chồng tới phái đoàn gia đình nhà gái. Xin trân trọng cảm ơn.
According to the spiritual traditions of the Tao, the exact time for entering the groom's home must be determined by the ritual master, so the entire group takes their seats and waits patiently. There is no sense of impatience. No one seems hurried. They understand that certain moments in life must unfold at the right time. While they wait, the sound of traditional horns and drums continues to fill the air. The music rises and falls in a rhythm that seems to echo through the surrounding mountains. It is both ceremonial and deeply atmospheric, a sound that announces not only the arrival of guests, but the importance of the occasion itself. Members of the groom's family move among the visitors, offering small cups of rice wine to each person, one by one. Every guest is welcomed with warmth and respect. The men are also offered cigarettes, a familiar gesture of hospitality in many rural communities of Vietnam. These simple acts may seem ordinary, but they carry an important meaning. They express gratitude, they honor the guests, and they reinforce the bonds between two families who are about to become one. So everyone waits. They talk quietly. They sip rice wine. They listen to the music, and the sound of drums and horns continues without interruption. Until the moment finally arrives when the bride's family is invited to enter the groom's house. And with that invitation, the next chapter of the wedding ceremony begins. at last, the moment arrives. The bride's family can enter the groom's house only when the ritual master determines that the chosen hour is auspicious. In the traditions of the Dao people, this is more than a matter of timing. It is a blessing, a symbolic beginning, a moment believed to bring harmony, prosperity, and happiness to the young couple as they begin their life together. With quiet dignity, the bride's family moves inside. The sound of horns and drums continues without interruption. The music leads the ceremony forward, filling the house with an atmosphere of solemnity and celebration. For the Dao people, these sounds are more than music. They are part of the spiritual language of the wedding itself. They announce that one of the most important moments in life is unfolding. Inside the house, before the feast begins, guests are once again offered tea, rice wine, and cigarettes. Hospitality continues with the same warmth and respect that has marked every step of this journey. Soon, the celebration will continue with food, conversation, laughter, and shared memories that will last late into the evening. And here, my story comes to a close. Over these 2 remarkable days, I had the privilege of witnessing and documenting a traditional Dao wedding in Ho To and Quang Nguyen, Hoang Su Phi, northern Vietnam. For me, these images are far more than documentary records. They are precious memories, a valuable part of my lifelong journey as a photographer. But this story holds an even deeper meaning. The bride you have seen in this film is the same little girl who appeared in one of my most meaningful photographs, Lovely in the Rain. 12 years ago, I photographed her standing beside her brother under a banana leaf during a mountain rainstorm. That image, titled Lovely in the Rain, received 32 international photography awards in salons around the world. It was also the photograph that helped establish my name within the international photography community. To return after 12 years and witness the wedding of that same little girl is a deeply emotional experience, one that reminds me that photography is not only about preserving a moment, it is about preserving life itself. If this film has brought you something meaningful, I would be grateful if you would like it and share it with your friends. And if you would like to discover more stories about the culture, traditions, and everyday life of Vietnam, please subscribe to my channel. I will continue to share new journeys and new stories with you. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next story.